Hi everybody, Andrew Smith here from We Speak Business, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you 5 pronunciation hacks that will instantly transform your speaking and pronunciation skills. Now, these 5 things are really common mistakes that I see a lot of my business English students make, and I thought it would be a great idea to share them with you in this video just so you are aware of them and so that you can improve them and of course improve your speaking and pronunciation. So we're going to dive right in straight away and get started. And today we're just going to start with our first hack, which is all about syllable stress. Now, you probably learned syllable stress a little bit at school, but probably not enough. But a syllable is basically a beat in a word, right? And stress means when the syllable sounds stronger or more powerful than the other syllables. And one of the biggest mistakes that I see English learners make is putting the stress in the incorrect place in a word. So just some general rules before we kind of move on to our second tip. Every word that has 2 or more syllables in English will always have one stressed syllable. If the word just has one syllable, like dog, cat, pen, then there is no stress. But if the word has 2 syllables, for example, machine, London, then these words will always have one stressed syllable. Using the example London, the stress is on the first syllable. Listen, London. With the word machine, the stress is on the second syllable. Machine, machine. And when you learn a new word in English, you don't just want to write down the definition, the synonym, what type of word it is, and an example sentence. All of that is great, but what you should also be writing down is how many syllables that new word has and which syllable has the stress, if any at all. So our first pronunciation hack is to pay more attention to syllable stress, and every time you learn a new word, you want to write down how many syllables it has and which syllable has the stress. Then you want to stand in front of a mirror and practice saying those words with the correct stress, just so you can get used to pronouncing it correctly. So the second tip we have is long and short vowel sounds. This is a very, very common mistake I always see and hear people make. So in English, we have what we call short vowel sounds and long vowel sounds. The long vowel sounds are A, E, I, O, U. These are just pronounced the way that you learn, from the alphabet. A, E, I, O, U. These are the long vowel sounds. Now the short vowel sounds are pronounced like this. A, E, O, U. A, E, O, U. A little bit more difficult. And in English, when we have a vowel in a word, it will either use the long vowel sound or it will use the short vowel sound. And one of the most common mistakes I hear people make is, getting this incorrect, getting this wrong. They will use the long vowel sound rather than the short vowel sound, and vice versa. So similar to our first hack about syllable stress, when you learn a new word and that word has a vowel in it, try to see first of all if it uses the short vowel sound or the long vowel sound. You can do this by looking online, or if you have a business English teacher, you can check with them. But to begin with, what I would do is I would just start practicing both of these sounds by themselves. And I would start with the longer vowel sounds because they are typically more easy. So I would just practice saying these longer vowel sounds out loud in front of a mirror every day for just 2 or 3 minutes. A, E, I, O, U. Then you can try pronouncing the short vowel sounds. A, E, I, O, U. Now, a quick point here, when we're pronouncing especially the longer vowel sounds, pay particular attention to your mouth and the mouth positioning. So when we pronounce longer vowel sounds, our mouth positioning will often be somewhat exaggerated. For example, A, E, I, O, U. You can see that with A and E, it's almost like I'm smiling, right? And if you have the mouth positioning correct, then the sound will also probably be correct as well. So when you're practicing in front of a mirror, pay particular attention not just to the sound you're making, but to the positioning of your mouth and your tongue. Now, the third point we have down here is strong and weak forms. So in English, we have certain words that will have strong forms and weak forms. Let me share with you a few examples so you know what I mean. So one of the most common examples is the word the. But you've probably also heard native speakers pronounce it as the as well. The and the. And this is a prime example of a weak and a strong form. The strong form is the, and the weak form is the. Another example, of, O-F, of. Of is the strong form, of is the weak form. Again, of, strong, of, weak. The, strong, the, weak. One more example, the word for, F-O-R, for. For is the strong form, f is the weak form. For, f, the, of. So you can notice that there's quite a big difference in how these two, variations sound. And right now you're probably wondering, well, Andrew, how do I know which sound to use? When do I use the strong sound and when do I use the weak sound? And that's a very good question. So generally speaking, when the word appears at the very beginning or the very end of the word, you should use the strong form. If the word appears anywhere else in the sentence, anywhere in the middle, anywhere other than the very beginning or the very end, then you should use the weak form. Now, there are many other words in English that use strong and weak forms, and it will be your job as an English or business English learner to find those out. But pronouncing these correctly will just make you sound a lot more fluent, a lot more natural, and a lot more like a native English speaker, because that's how we say it. So that is all about strong and weak forms. Let's take a look now at number 4. Remembering the S at the end of countable nouns. Oh my God, guys. Honestly, this is one of the biggest mistakes I always see business English learners make. What usually happens is when they are saying a plural countable noun, they will often forget to really emphasize or even say the S at the end of the word. So if the word is machines, they will often just pronounce it as the singular form, machine, and they will forget to really stress that S at the end. And it's really important that you do pronounce that S because this is what differentiates it from the singular form. If we just say machine, then I'm just going to think you're only talking about one machine. But if you say machines, then I know you're talking about two or more. The same with the word finance. A lot of people will say finance rather than finances. The company's finances. So remembering to pronounce the S at the end of a plural countable noun is really, really important. Now, you can practice this, first of all, by just saying or isolating that S sound. Just practice saying it here with me right now. S, S, like a snake. Once you've gotten the hang of that, try writing down some words that use S at the end and try saying them out loud very clearly and paying particular attention to the S at the very end. We can go through some examples right now. So we can say machine, 1, machines, 2, bed, 1, beds, 2, finance, finances, and probably the most difficult one that everybody always makes a mistake on. Business, one business, many businesses. Business, businesses. So from now on, I would like you to really start paying attention to those S's at the end of words. It really makes a huge difference, and it will just make you come across as more confident, clear, and natural if you start doing this. Now, our fifth tip is all about contractions. Now, we're not talking about the contractions a woman has when she's giving birth. We're talking about English today, guys. And let me just come over here. A contraction is basically a shortened version of a word. So some examples of contractions are words like, rather than saying do not, don't is the contraction. Rather than saying I am, I'm is the contraction. Rather than saying you are is the contraction. And native English speakers will always use contractions in spoken English or in informal English or in informal writing. So when you're listening to native speakers talk on the TV or in real life, you will notice that they never really use the longer forms, I am, do not, we are. Instead, they will go for the contracted form, I'm, don't, we are. And although, if you're a beginner, of course, first of all, practice and master the longer forms first. But if you are a B1 level or higher, then you should definitely be using contractions all the time in your spoken English. It's really important, and again, it's just something that gives you that bit of an edge and makes you sound more like a native English speaker, because that's what we do. So those are the 5 tips that we've covered today. The first tip is syllable stress, long and short vowel sounds, weak and strong forms, remembering S at the end of nouns, and using contractions rather than the longer forms. Now, you might be wondering, well, this is all well and good, but what's the point if I have nobody to practice to? Maybe you're working for a local company, or maybe you're unemployed, and maybe you find it really difficult to find somebody who you can practice your speaking with. And it's even more difficult to find somebody who is a teacher and who is a native speaker who can correct you and tell you the right way to say it. And this is where we come in. Right now, we're hosting a free 2-hour seminar all about how to speak better business in just 1 month. And in this free seminar, there is an entire section dedicated to pronunciation and accent. And I know that this is a common topic that everybody wants to know more about and everybody wants to improve. So I decided it would be a really good idea to have one entire section of this free seminar where we just focus on pronunciation and accent. So to join the free seminar, you can click the link either above or below this video, depending on what platform you're watching it on, and you can join. Be aware that there are limited seats available for this seminar, and we have seminars running quite frequently at different times, so you will definitely find a time that suits you. And in this seminar at the very end, we actually give you a very special, very unique resource where you can practice your speaking every single day with professional native speaking teachers. But that's just if you like what we give you for free. The seminar is completely free. You don't have to pay for anything. And if you find a lot of value in it, then you can join our speaking program, which is very cheap, and you can quit or cancel at any time. But that's if you just like what we give you for free. So in the seminar, I'm going to teach you all about how to pronounce words more clearly, more professionally, and more confidently like a native speaker. We're going to talk about accent. We're going to talk about building your business vocabulary quickly. And we're also going to talk about how to set goals and how to get motivated when actually learning a language. Because I think that's a very big problem a lot of people have an issue with. So guys, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you found these 5 pronunciation hacks useful. If you did, give the video a like or a thumbs up. And I'd like to hear from you in the comments section about which areas of pronunciation or speaking you find difficult, and in a future video I will make sure to do a lesson on that to give you some extra help. So guys, thanks for watching, have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.